Have you ever walked through a town and thought, man, I really hope there's no psychopaths running around today? Well, I've got terrible news for you, because today, I am that psychopath. Or more specifically, I will embody that psychopath using a medium I named Francois. Francois has taken it upon himself to cleanse the world of Oblivion Remastered. Well, what exactly does that mean, you might be asking? It means we will visit all 9 cities throughout the map and politely ask the people to move out. Well, that's not entirely true. A more accurate assessment would be, I will be violating every rule of the Geneva Conventions by committing indiscriminate mass genocide upon the citizens of this great nation. So join me on my journey to restore peace and balance to the world of Oblivion. Starting the challenge, we need to create our resident psychopath. We took James May here and ran him through our industrial paper shredder. What came out is exactly what my sleep paralysis demon looks like. I chose to name this freak of nature Francois. Francois here is already imprisoned. I have no idea why, but I have a feeling if I found out, my lifespan will be significantly shortened. While awaiting execution on death row, the emperor of the country rolls in to use a secret passage and allows us to follow him into the dungeons. Little does he know, this sole action would lead to 9 cities being massacred. Inside the dungeons, we encounter a bunch of assassins trying to take down the emperor. We take a bunch of them down until one of them comes out of the wall and gives the emperor a warm London welcome. Not a whole lot more happens throughout the tutorial from here, so let me sum it up. The emperor takes a very long nap, the bodyguards are depressed, I murdered helpless rats and goblins, and we're on our way out. To prepare us for the journey, we need some gear and a couple of mods. The first mod we need is the No Essential NPCs mod, so we can kill essential NPCs. The second mod is the No More Repairing mod. This one's for quality of life and makes it so I don't have to spend hours gathering hammers to fix my kit. Unfortunately, I don't download this mod for a little while since I didn't know I would need it, but as for the gear we'll be using, we need to head over to this place right here. Inside we'll find someone named Umbra. The issue now is that she's a bit of a dommy mommy, and despite Francois' appearance, he's a weak bottom. Or maybe it's not an issue. Right now, the strat is to cast Fireball and book it to the Imperial City where we'll have some Giga Chad guards take her down. After she took on the whole city, she finally died and I can peel the kit off her corpse. Now, we may begin. The plan for this challenge is very simple. Visit each of the 9 cities and end with a final siege on the Imperial City, beginning with Chorrol and moving counterclockwise until we hit Bruma, and finally invading the city to end it off. For the time being though, let's focus on Chorrol. Starting off, I had no plan. I just chose to wing it and try to take everyone out. I started with the guards at the entrance and moved into the town to get some of the people. But apparently this game takes place in America, and the people immediately draw their swords to defend themselves. This raises an issue for me since I don't have a lot of health yet. Clearly, this strategy wasn't it, and I was taken down very quickly. But let's try that again just to be sure. Well, I don't know what I expected. Since I entered a building at autosave, so I guess we just gotta live with it now. Since I'm now a wanted man, guards from anywhere on the map will now approach me and try to lure me into their suspicious white van. Despite their promises of candy, this led to a comical Looney Tunes chase around the town until I hopped a fence and developed a strategy. The pussy strat. This strat is mainly for when I'm running scared from a very threatening dominatrix. It allows me to be out of reach from swords and, if you're positioned right, arrows can't get you either. What's great about this is, since my IQ is slightly above room temperature, I'm able to aim over the fence and actually hit them. The only downside to this is, it takes a very long time. As a result of this, I developed a strategy to take out all the guards in a town first so I don't have any good Samaritans trying to stop my unethical and war criminal-like behavior. After 30 minutes of this, I took out the guards and I was free to continue. A side effect of pissing off an entire town is that half my armor is destroyed, which means it offers no protection until I fix it. The intended way to fix it is by buying or finding repair hammers, which I did initially, but these hammers don't fully repair your armor. Instead, they give about 6 points of health back to it. This makes the challenge extra tedious since I have to track my kit's health and obtain these little bastards. This is why I wanted the Unbreakable Armor mod. Unfortunately, at this time I was a little retarded and still didn't install the mod. So before I could continue my rampage, I stopped at the shop, repaired some of my armor moments before I maimed the shopkeeper. Now all that's left is to patrol the streets and break into homes until I find the remaining citizens. Inevitably, it led me to the church, where I did a little remodeling by changing up the color scheme. While I was inside, I tried to seek religion by interacting with an altar, but apparently, genocidal psychopaths aren't looked upon very highly by gods. I don't know who the hell Julianos is or how great his wrath may be, but it's not my problem. Leaving the church, I made a life-altering discovery. This lady has dogs. Now before you start panicking, you freak, I'm a psychopath, not a monster. The dogs are fine. Anyway, I digress. We're now down to the final few stops, the castle, the Fighters Guild, and the Mages Guild. The castle and Fighters Guild are going to be the harder ones to do since everyone's equipped with decent kit, but the Mages Guild on the other hand is probably the easiest. Picture this, you're back in school. You're but a young, aspiring genocidal maniac. You see a group of jocks, well built, tough to take down. Those are the Fighters Guild. Then there's the nerds, weak little bookworms who attempt to threaten you with intelligence. That is the Mages Guild, and also why I folded their asses in less than 3 milliseconds. Hopefully that helps. The castle is a bit challenging since the remainder of the guards are holed up there. I made quick work of the ones in the main entrance by employing the pussy strat once again, and with those guards out of the way, we can assassinate the ruler of the town and sweep the rest of the castle for servants and stray guards. That's one of the last two completed. My final target is the Fighters Guild. Shockingly, there's only one person inside. I think I probably took down the others with the bow earlier. Regardless, on that note, that's 1 town down, 8 more remaining. Our next destination was Skinny Red. Armed with a rough strategy, it went pretty smoothly. I took out all the guards and was approached by this strange-looking guy asking me to meet him in an alley at midnight. Assuming he's some kind of demented sex pervert, I stabbed him to death and completed a quest for doing it. Not gonna question that, I suppose. After that, I stopped by the shop to fix up my armor for the last time before I finally downloaded the mod. The timing worked out well because soon after I chased Shrek into a crowded bar and started a bar fight. With that finished, that's most of the street people taken care of, and it's time to begin invading some homes. An easy way to do this is to begin at the horse statue and make a full circle around. That way I know I've hit every building. Here's how that went down. With most of the population gone, all that needs to be done is some cleanup. Once we're done cleaning up the streets, then we're on to Kvetch. Unfortunately, Kvetch is blocked by a literal gate to hell. In order for us to enter the town, we have to figure out how to close it. The way we do that is we punch our ticket to hell a little bit early and climb the big tower in the middle. Once we're at the top, we just have to remove this funny little ball and boom, we're good to go. Fortunately, it seems like 90% of my job was done for me as the town is in complete ruin. For now though, our main goal is to rescue the survivors and lead them down to New Kvetch, or as I call it, Tent Town. But to do that, we have to go through the town and eliminate all the demonic creatures we encounter. As soon as we make it to the end, I take out every one of the guards that I was working with during the mission. It's time to finish what the demons started. I went back to the church and took out the guard that helped people escape town, and finally, it was time to burn down Tent Town. Starting with you, Brother Martin. Well, turns out he's essential to the story. A developer thought of psychopaths like me trying to murder everyone. So, we have to progress the story a bit further and deliver Martin to Wayne and Priory so he can wear the Emperor's special necklace. Unfortunately, it was stolen, which probably has major story implications, but that's not really my problem. We bring Martin to a temple in the mountains where we leave Martin and are sent to find Boris. I was told to find Boris in the city, but when I went, I was overpowered by the guards and forced to go into hiding and use my bow. This is when I decided to upgrade my bow as well. Doing some research, I discovered the Frostworm bow in the mountains. To get there, we have to get to Dive Rock where there just happens to be a free bed. I take advantage of the moment and level my guy up, boosting him up to level 8, which greatly improves my health. Once I finished leveling up, I had to locate an invisible troll who had the bow, though he's pretty much glow in the dark, so he's not hard to see. Plucking the bow off his corpse, it was time to eliminate Kvetch. With the population already significantly diminished, I finished them off in less than 2 minutes. With the town of Kvetch completely eviscerated, it was time to move to the east coast to the bustling town of Anvil. This town is rather small but comes with a harbor, a single street, and a population of about 68 people. As is ritual at this point, we'll begin clearing the streets of any guards, homeless minorities, and lastly, the taxpayers. For some reason in this town, people don't really seem to defend themselves. Oh, wait. Never mind. I was just jumped by a Jehovah's Witness. I guess the AI in this town is just a little retarded. Fortunately, it seems most of this town doesn't hide indoors either, other than the 2 guilds that is. That'll make things very quick and easy. With the streets cleared, it's time to do some casual home invasion. Starting with the inn, this one is usually one of the more popular buildings for people to hide in. But there's only 2 people in here. Oh, wait, there's 3? Oh, never mind, there's a 4th. Apparently the citizens of this town are avid gang stalkers. Hard to blame them when this creature moves in. Who wouldn't want a piece of the living embodiment of the skull emoji? Unfortunately for them, the only action they'll be getting is my soul-absorbing sword. That gives a whole new meaning to sucking the soul out of someone. My next stop was to clear out the remaining stores and then hit the 2 guild buildings. Of course, starting with the mages since they're weak as hell and their main attacks are to summon a local meth head to come and eat me, use magic to give me malaria, and to summon, who the f*** is Sparky? Regardless of them giving me several mystical diseases, I gave them an incurable disease called being cut in half. The final stop before the castle was the Fighters Guild. Unfortunately, everyone here is physically stronger than me, so you know what time it is. Pussy strat time. Though I thought I killed everyone, there was one unarmed guy still hiding upstairs with his dog. With that, it's on to the church. Oh, and someone's done a satanic ritual in the church. Well, I guess that means I can skip the church and assassinate a government official instead. I'm now in the Countess's bedroom, though she must have a spider sense for eerie presences because the moment I walked through, she sprung up from bed. Or maybe she overheard me stabbing her bodyguard to death. I guess we'll never know now. Before I even loaded into the town of Breville, I got stopped by a guard. This is almost definitely a bad omen. Well, wouldn't you know it, there's a barrage of people waiting for me inside. On the bright side, these poor people were being served up to me on a silver platter. Very nice. As soon as the streets were cleared, I was looking for dessert, and what better place to find it than the Mages Guild. As always, they're extremely submissive and easy to dominate. Even easier now since I'm 6 levels stronger. After everyone inside was dead, I walked outside and saw a poor, homeless guy asking me for money. I told him to get a job before I burnt his ass to a crisp, and while watching him burn to death, I chose to repent in the nearest church. Unfortunately, churchgoers don't appreciate being slashed through the heart, and they kicked me out. I chose to find a group who might actually appreciate my fighting spirit and went inside the Fighters Guild. Unfortunately, I'm not a bottom and don't appreciate being dominated, so I rushed to employ the pussy strat. But only one person followed me out, so I quickly swallow their soul, run back inside, and I switch the roles up and dominate all of them at once. The final building is the castle, inside of which the mayor of the town only has 3 guards protecting him, which makes it extra easy to take him down. The only thing left to do now is do a quick check around the castle for the final few people. Our next stop was Leowin, and this town was a bit of a disaster for me. Turns out, I'm slightly retarded and I completely forgot to eliminate all the guards first. This led to me being overrun immediately after entering the first building and having to cower with my bow once again. I am an idiot. Having taken care of the guards for now, I broke into Rosentia Galenis's house. Yeah, Rosentia Galenis's house and discovered her using 4 gremlin slaves. But when I tried to liberate them, they sort of just stood back up. What she was using them for, I have no idea, and to be honest, I don't really want to know. I chose to continue patrolling the streets and taking out any innocent bystanders. Once I secured the streets, it was time to demolish the wizards and move on to the castle. Outside the castle, there were people already dead for some reason. I guess I'm not the only psychopath running around here. I went inside and took out the guards in the main entrance and for some reason convinced the mayor to let me buy a house for 7 grand. I guess the brainworm finally took over because I had no conceivable reason to waste 7 grand like that. But let's forget about that for a moment. We have more pressing matters. On the corpse of this guy was a key labeled secret room key. Now, we have a real mystery to solve. Oh, I'm guessing this rectangular shape in the wall is the secret room. To no one's surprise, it led to a secret BDSM bunker complete with chains and a lot of blood. I'm not one to kink shame, but I'm willing to bet he's the type to be chained up. Our last stop for this town is the Fighting Guild. The next town on the list is Shadenhall, and this town cursed me. Apparently, through a miraculous act of divine intervention, the world decided to completely corrupt an hour of footage by making my power go out. Isn't that just great? Anyway, let's begin where I currently am. Currently, I'm taking out the Fighters Guild, which proves to be a bit challenging, and rather than devolve to using my bow again, I choose to run around the town frantically trying to heal myself. Eventually, it did pay off and I broke into the remaining homes, and finally, chased the final victim all the way up to the castle. I took out the remaining guards and James May from Top Gear.
I think it must be Dan.
Finishing with Count Andal and his bodyguards. Just like that, despite literal divine intervention, we're ready for the last town before the final siege. Bruma had a bit of a rough start. A guard killed his friend and immediately after he called over 2 of his buddies to try and gangbang me. Fortunately, I was able to cower behind a horse and successfully avoided the gay agenda. Having taken them down, they posted more guys at the door. Little did they know, that just makes my job easier. I chose to approach this town a little differently. I wanted to start with the castle, and since it was nighttime, everyone inside was already asleep, which meant I could slink into their rooms like some sort of funked up sleep paralysis demon. The guards in the barracks weren't asleep, however, and did not take kindly to me standing at the foot of their bed. But this is when something truly disturbing happened. I went to deal with the guards by luring 2 of them outside where I took them down, but when I went back inside, that's when it happened. The 3rd guy had stripped completely naked and immediately charged at me armed with a bottle of fresh diddy oil. Fortunately, I stabbed him to death before he could lather either of us up. After that close call, I fled the castle and started breaking into homes. This is when I made an amazing discovery. When people are at home, their doors are unlocked, but when they're not, the doors are locked and the text is red. This makes this phase significantly easier since I no longer need to check every house, only the ones that are already open. It's a shame I discovered this over 12 hours into this challenge. Anyway, shortly after I made a second disturbing discovery, a crime scene. By the looks of it, this guy got a little more action than he could handle. This part was actually the most normal bit of the house. There was something even worse in the basement. Apparently, they were keeping a crack addict as their pet in their basement. I guess they forgot to feed him. Regardless, I'm not going to complain about it. Makes my job slightly easier. All that's left now is the fighter and mage guilds, but they were both very weak and barely worth a mention. The final stop of this challenge is the Imperial City. This place is massive, complete with a wizard university, several districts, an arena, a harbor, and finally the prison where we started. Due to the sheer scale of this place, I think you know what time it is now. Montage time. With the main city over and done with, all that remains now is the prison and university. The university is the easiest to deal with since it's just a mage guild but the size of the average American. We'll follow the same formula as always, starting with the magical guards since they're the only threat here. Now that we have free reign of this little village, we can begin invading the buildings. The first house had only one guy inside. The second was a lot tougher, however. The second I attacked the resident, a few guards materialized into existence and almost killed me. As usual, I took them down and invaded the upstairs sleeping quarters where I took down the last few people. The last few houses only had a couple people inside, so they went pretty quickly. Just like that, we only have one stop remaining, the prison. Shockingly, the prison was easier than the university. I just had to deal with the guards outside of it, and that would pretty much be it. Even though they nearly got me, they're joining the pile of 600 bodies I've created. All that's left now is the prison area. There's only two prisoners here, one who apparently prayed for assassins to kill someone, and the other one is the guy from the beginning who was sort of a dickhead, so he'll make for a very satisfying final kill. On that note, that brings us to the end of my psychotic rampage for now. With the population of 9 entire cities added to my ever-expanding murder count, I must now flee before the cops trace my IP again. Until we meet again.
Put that on the shame, there's a reason